Policemen who kill. For the first time, members of Kenya's death squad speak publicly about assassinating suspects.
They were targeted, identified, and eliminated in front of their families.
We don't arrest. We never. We are sharpshooters.
Kenya's counter-terrorism strategy is edging the country into conflict, creating a generation of angry and alienated Muslims.
Kenyans shot dead in cold blood.
They are becoming a threat to global security, so do the elimination.
Al Jazeera has been given confidential documents revealing the intelligence that drives this extrajudicial killing program. Intelligence that may have been supplied by Western security agencies.
Once they give us the information, tomorrow is no longer there. The report that you gave us has been worked on.
Al Jazeera investigates whether global powers are conducting a proxy war in Africa using a rulebook from Israel.
The part of the prevention sometimes is to kill the terrorists before trial.
President Kenyatta has already faced charges of crimes against humanity at the International Criminal Court. He could soon find himself in the dock again, this time for ordering the killing of Muslim clerics.
That execution was planned in Nairobi by very top high-ranking police officers and government officials.
The work is very easy because we are always on a standby to get instruction. Go to A, B, C, D, hit A, B, C, D, and it's done. Period. And you get back.
For years, Kenya has been rife with allegations of a secret government-run counter-terrorism program, one that targets suspected Muslim radicals. Al Jazeera's investigative unit has obtained exclusive access to the policemen who operate as government-sanctioned hitmen.
Yeah, it's all right.
Fearing that speaking to us could put their lives at risk, we agreed to conceal their identity. We verified each officer's role within Kenya's security apparatus. They belong to different units, but work together to carry out assassinations. The first officer is a member of the Anti-Terrorism Police Unit, or the ATPU.
Their role is just to, we can say, preventing, and when need be, elimination of the bad guys.
We will call him the cop. Next, an officer from a commando unit called Recce Company, part of the police's General Service Unit, or GSU.
It is a paramilitary group. It has a special training on its own. The aim is, you kill first before you are killed.
He is the commando. The death squad also includes an officer from the National Security and Intelligence Service.
We pass the right information to the right soul for the right action to be taken against them.
Do you believe that some of the intelligence you and your officers may have gathered on high-profile people has led to them being eliminated?
Yes, of course. We've done it, and that is why we are there.
The NSIS plays a central role in planning anti-terror operations. We call him the spy. Finally, there's a member of the radiation unit, a rapid reaction team within the Kenyan police.
I'm in radiation. And radiation, I think, is very dangerous.
He is called the gunman.
And what kind of specialist activities do the radiation unit do?
Issue of eliminations happening here and there in Mombasa, Muslims, radicals, and all that. We are in elimination program.
Let's get started, because You may end up in jail
Bismillah.
before we get... At some point, they will send you to jail.
No, now it's not jail.
Makaburi was the nickname of Abu Bakr Sharif Ahmed, a charismatic Muslim cleric from the Kenyan port city of Mombasa.
So you guys need to sit out of eye line because Makaburi's going to look at you sitting there. So you need to move somewhere that he can't see you.
I met him in November 2013.
So I'm supposed to look at you?
Yeah.
Or look at him?
No. Look at me.
Makaburi told me that Muslims in Kenya faced widespread government oppression.
What do you think the outcome of that kind of oppression will be?
The migration of young men going to jihad, because they see it as a lack of law on their side. They cannot get justice, they get oppressed, they get killed, their sheikhs get killed, they cannot go to the government, it's the government which is doing it.
Makaburi has appeared in court on numerous occasions, charged under Kenya's terrorism laws, but he was never convicted.
How am I a terrorist? Who have I terrorized? That's why I'm in court now for 3 years and nothing has been proved against me. I'm the one who is being terrorized. My life is the one which is in danger. Any sheikh who talks about the Islamic religion as a whole, meaning including jihad, is killed in Kenya.
These confidential reports, obtained exclusively by Al Jazeera, claim to show that Makaburi had extensive links to the Somali militant group Al-Shabaab and that he was planning and financing bombings in Kenya. But despite these alleged links, the authorities failed to produce enough evidence to convict him in court.
Makaburi in Mombasa is a very dangerous person to our country. What do you do with such a person? Do you spare such a person because you are observing human rights?
Makaburi was placed under surveillance.
We move tactically to understand what is taking place on the ground. We collect this information, then we provide it to the right source for an action to be taken.
When we receive the information that so and so is organizing a certain group who are likely to terrorize people, the first person to get rid of is the leader.
Using the codename Chris for their target, they explained the intelligence needed before they could strike.
You cannot just be told today, go and assassinate Chris. I don't know Chris. So number one, I have to be taken through. Who is this Chris? How often does he visit the supermarket? Does he come back after his duties and all that? What time does he arrive home?
People known to the target can be used unwittingly as part of an operation.
Sometimes we may use somebody to bring the person to a certain place where we can get this person, we eliminate, and then we...
So you must understand who is this Chris first before Chris is assassinated. I'm very sorry to say that.
Depending with the information that we have at that time, that's when we develop the idea whether we go to eliminate or to spare this person.
On the evening of the 1st of April 2014, Makaburi was heading home from yet another court appearance, unaware that he was being watched.
We have been told Makaburi is in Mombasa within such and such a mosque.
We were in a camp, waiting for instruction, and always on a standby.
So what do we do? At such and such a time, we get the Makaburi there.
And then you act.
Yeah. Ours is to act.
Makaburi was shot as he left the courtroom. He became the third prominent Muslim cleric murdered in Kenya in the last 2 years.
Every other time, these sheikhs are coming up and saying, we feel our life is threatened. And then the next day, puff, they're not there, and everything goes quiet.
All were gunned down in front of witnesses, and all cases remain unsolved. When I met Makaburi 6 months before his death, he believed he already knew his fate and who would pull the trigger.
The Recce Squad, which is a GSU squad in Nairobi. Those are the guys who are doing these killings all over Kenya. And they have been given immunity from persecution. So what they're doing is they're cleansing. Whoever is a potential threat should be killed.
Human rights groups have highlighted a further 18 suspected Islamic radicals gunned down by the police over the past 2 years.
When someone is killed, at least show that you are concerned, that you're carrying out investigations. Show us that you are able to track some of the killers. But you can't have people being shot dead every week and then the government does nothing.
The fact that these individuals, so high profile, have been assassinated in broad daylight sometimes, and then followed up with basically no investigation, raises serious questions about what the goal is by the Kenyan authorities.
Who killed Makaburi?
Makaburu was killed by the police. That execution was planned in Nairobi by very top high-ranking police officers and government officials.
The government did it. Yeah. This is the person who is bringing trouble here. Let us eliminate that we have peace.
The Kenyan authorities' clampdown on suspected Islamic militants is a reaction to events in nearby Somalia. In 2006, Ethiopia, assisted by the United States, invaded, overthrowing Somalia's Islamic government. 5 years later, Kenya became directly embroiled in the conflict, sending in several thousand soldiers. Kenya invaded Somalia in order to crush the increasingly powerful Islamist movement, Al-Shabaab.
They went into that war thinking they would sweep Shabaab into the sea. Instead, what they've done is opened the door for Al-Shabaab to enter Kenya. They now have a domestic insurgency. And recent events show that Shabaab has learned very quickly how to exploit the many local political conflicts that Kenya contains. That makes Shabaab the most dangerous thing the Kenyan state has ever faced.
Since the invasion of Somalia, there have been multiple attacks by Al-Shabaab inside Kenya. There's no denying how serious the threat is here in Kenya. We've just been told that one of the main police stations in Nairobi has been hit by an IED. Move! We arrived to chaotic scenes. A grenade detonated by the bomb squad sent people running for cover. The car bomb had killed 4 people, including 2 police officers. Muslims have been in East Africa for centuries and now make up at least 10% of Kenya's population. This is the Masjid Musa Mosque in Mombasa. The government claims the sermons here are encouraging violence against the Kenyan state. Some worshippers feel the government's actions are drawing them into this increasingly violent insurgency.
Kuisha itaisha paka wao wa stop kutumaliza kutuua sisi. Ndio maana ukaona paka mimi sasa hii nimeficha hii sura yangu tu, wametupigia paka misikiti, ndani ya misikiti wameua watu. Ni makosa makubwa hayo.
In February